Good morning, everyone. I'm really glad for you to join me here today on this particular YouTube live that I'm having today. My name is Akhil Bhansali, and today we're gonna have a discussion and an exploration on a very important question which I have been also pondering upon in my life. And the question is how to find friend within. Particular YouTube live that I'm having. So let's get started. Great. So first thing first, I really want to express my deepest gratitude and sincere thanks to Extravaluecart team for offering me this opportunity today. This is the Power Booster Talk series the Extra Value Card team is running, and this is talk number 18 where I am with you today. And there's gonna be more of them. So I would really request all of you to subscribe to their channel and get benefited for many of the power talks that are going to come in the days. So let's get started for our exploration journey. So I have a vision, and this vision is just not for me, but for you as well. And the vision is, may we find our best friend within, and may this friendship flourishes more and more as we grow together. So this is a vision that I have for you, not just for today, but maybe for your entire life. And I would invite you to consider this vision in your life. So the talk today is all about friends. And what you see here in this picture are the bunch of friends together. Now a question comes to us. Why do we really need friends? What are friends really for in our life, and how do we make them? Now you see here in this picture closely, bunch of friends having a good time, and then they're taking a pause to maybe just capture this moment of memory that they're having with one another. A special feeling I'm sure they would have offered to one another, and you can see from their faces that special feeling that we generally get in the company of our best friends. Friends are also our companion in school days. So this other picture that you see is more of the kids who are a bunch of friends maybe, but they are looking in the camera, and to me it looks like somebody came in as a reporter and told them, guys, we're gonna have your picture in the first front page tomorrow. And the elation and the joy this girl is having, and look at the faces of the other children. There's one guy here on the back. I'm not sure what's happening internally, but there's something, somebody's pulling him or he wants to come forward, and he's experiencing a different emotional state compared to the other individuals here in the picture. So, what do we see here? We see pictures, we see faces. That is the physical appearance. But beyond that, we also notice the feelings these individuals are having in that moment. So, friendship to me is all about feelings. And there is a very famous saying that people will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's what friendship is, something that we all cherish, and it's all about other people. Now let's notice this picture. What do you see here is a boy having a real jolly good laugh, and I'm not sure whether he's in the company of his friends or not right now physically. What I see is also there is a background of the nature. There's a waterfall maybe behind him. One thing that comes to me, yes, he may be in the company of his friend and his friends are carrying him on his shoulder, and that is what is creating the joy. But the other thing I'm noticing is his eyes are closed. And maybe he's not in the company of the friends physically, but there is someone internally which is offering him this sense of joy, this elated experience, isn't it? So, I would like you to consider this quote, which we just seen, but in a different form. At the end of my life, I will forget what I said and I'll forget what I did, but I'll never forget how I made myself feel. Now, let's talk about the current reality that we have in our life today. I'm here in Pune, and I'm sure you all have joined me from different parts of the world. And the weather in Pune is really beautiful right now. We could see a breeze coming in from the window. There's a bright sunlight, and the weather is playing his game right now. But the nature is really beautiful here in Pune at the moment, and I'm sure it would be at many part of the world. So the current reality, what I'm trying to offer you from my viewpoint, is beyond the COVID. There are so many beautiful things around us, and it all depends on what is it that we're noticing in our surrounding. As I talked about COVID, we have a challenge, and the challenge is very different and very difficult, where all the new, all the normal ways of living and experiencing life have drastically stopped. Everything that we used to do and consider it as normal has changed for us. And we all are experiencing a different life experience altogether. We have heard about this kind of pandemic hitting the world. However, that is something we just read. But this is something we are really feeling on a day-to-day basis. This challenge makes us alone at times, and creates a feeling of uncertainties and anxieties, and feeling of hurt or feeling of being helpless. And that's all I think the entire humanity is experiencing at the moment. Given we have this stark reality in front of us and the challenge that I just portrayed, which you all must be experiencing in the moment, I'm here today to invite you to consider this possibility, the possibility we just laid out ourselves in the vision. Before we deep dive into understanding what could be those steps to identify a friend within, I would be happy and glad to introduce myself to you. I'm Akhil Bhansali. You could see 3 pictures in the background. All these 3 pictures are very special memories that I have. This first picture is where I started my independent consulting career 2 years back, and I offered a Scrum Master certification program to this bunch of friends that I have. We are still in touch, and they're very good friends to me. This picture here that you see is, I would say, around 4 years back, when we, the bunch of friends, have had a vision to make Pune play the largest treasure hunt they have ever played. And this is the moment where we celebrated and expressed our joy after completing that event successfully, after 2 months of great preparation and great collaboration. You could have noticed till this time, here I'm playing piano, and this is where my heart lies. I continue to play music and enjoy music and continue to offer it to people, friends around me. If you look at my background, 36 years of life experience with 16 plus years of corporate experience. I'm an entrepreneur, enterprise change agent. I'm also a work-life coach who works with individuals on one-on-one basis and help them identify their own goals and help them achieve those goals. So there are multiple dimensions about me, and I would be happy to get connected to all of you at the end of the session to know more about me and to get to know one another. Now, my mission in life is to bring out the best version of every human I meet and share my time with. When I say every human, that includes myself as well. Now let's get started on the journey of exploring how to find friend within. And for that, I'll share a small story with you, a story of a small cub who got born when his mother was on the hunt. You can see a tigress. Uh, she was on a hunt in a jungle, but during hunt she got injured and um, you know she died. But before dying, she has given a birth to a small baby cub, baby tiger. Now the bunch of deers here, they were looking at that cub and they felt that let us take this cub with us and let us offer the care and love that we can offer and help this life grow with us. Now, in the journey, the cub started enjoying the environment and the company of the friends that he had, the extended family that he had, and started doing similar things like the way the deers jump, he started jumping like that. The way the deers eat, he started eating like them, and he started feeling that I am also a deer. One day, what happened when bunch of deer went to have a water in the lake nearby? A tiger came in, a old tiger, and when he roared, all the deers went away. But there was a small cub who just stayed there, and this old tiger came to him and said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I'm a deer." The tiger said, "No, you are not a deer. You are a tiger." And he did not believe. So the old tiger offered him to come with him and look at his own reflection in the water. When that small cub looked at the reflection, and when he compared himself and his physical appearance to the deers with which he was spending time, he realized that he's different. He's not the deer, but he's somebody else. And then the old tiger asked him to take a chance to do something which is very natural to tiger. And that's something which he asked him to roar. And when he roared, the roar was not that solid. But when he roared, he realized that yes, I'm not a deer and I am a tiger. Now, what this story tells us, this story just tells us that it is so very important for all of us to know who we are. And in that journey, it is really, really important that we understand how to go about knowing who we really are. So, the first thing to get this answer is self-awareness. Now, what is self-awareness? If you look at it closely, there are multiple dimensions of our life experience that we go through. Now, here in this picture, you see there is a personality that we all carry with in life. We have our set of beliefs which guide us and create some model of the world around us. Say, for example, I believe I am a great friend to people. When I believe that, the way I interact and engage with people is very, very friendly. And that's one of the value that gets created in my life. So our beliefs defines the way we look at the world and the way we perceive the world, and then the way we transact in the world. Emotions are also very important dimension of our life experience. Day in and day out, we are going through different emotional experiences. And it is important for a human being to closely look at, notice what emotions I'm having on a daily basis. Am I having a good company of people where I'm feeling joyful, or with the current life situation, I'm feeling hurt, there is an anxiety, there is a stress within me. So it's important that individuals look at their emotions closely. If you look at values are like guiding principles in life. Say, for example, I value time. When I say that I value time, I absolutely want to make sure that I'm punctual wherever I'm going, whoever I'm meeting, I'm on time, and that guides my way of living. So there are multiple values that one needs to explore. What values are there within me which are important to me as an individual? You also have to ask question to yourself. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? You can know it by yourself, or you can get to know from your friends, from your family members who would come to you and tell you that, Akhil, your strength is you're a good people connect. You can make good connections. And your weakness is you at times get very, very emotional, right? So, this picture, I really want you to soak in and reflect on these questions that I just asked to you. I'm going to share the set of questionnaires after this talk in the chat, and if you feel like you need it personally, you can put your name, email address to me on WhatsApp, and I'll make sure that you get the set of questionnaires through which you can go and build your self-awareness capability. Now you would ask me, Akhil, how can I become self-aware? One thing I would just say is you got to schedule time for yourself. That time could be 15 minutes in a day for just yourself, or maybe an hour. It depends on your current schedule, your responsibilities, the time that you have. And in that scheduled time slot, you need to do introspection and reflection about who you are, what are these different characteristics that I possess, reflect on your day-to-day life experiences, and identify what is going well, what is not going well for you, and then try and become who you really are in that process of inquiring and self-awareness. I hope through this journey you really get to this state where you are on your own and having an elated experience whenever you want. Now, as we just talked about self-awareness, we also realize it's a process of asking questions and then getting answers by just closing your eyes maybe. Now, when you think about this, who is that is talking to you within? Who is that who's giving you the direction? Who's that that's telling you who you really are? And for a moment, I want you to consider that might be your friend, that inner voice which is talking to you. It can be your heart, it can be your inner voice, it can be that energy that you feel within yourself. With that reflection, I would also want to say this, that the listening is one of the important skills to have to be a good friend to anyone, whether it can be the people around you or whether it can be your own self. Now let's look at the second dimension of friendship, which is, we called it as care. And before we go to self-care, I would like to reflect on this thought, which is anytime you board an aircraft, the announcement that goes there is, in case of any turbulence and the oxygen pressure is, the masks will hang down from your cabin. Make sure that you put your mask first before you offer help to others. What is this announcement telling us? This announcement is telling us that it is important that we prioritize self-care before we even think of offering care to other people. And that's why it is so very important to understand the dimension of self-care in our own lives. Now, to give you few ideas on self-care, I would say I don't have any ideas to offer to you right now. What I want to offer to you is this reflection that you already knew how to take care of yourself when you were a child, a newborn child who just got born in this world. and that child knew how to take care of his or her own self. So, what has happened? Have we really forgotten what we already know about care? And I believe as we grow in life, yes, we generally tend to forget how do we really take care of our own selves. I'm not going to tell you what these pictures are. I'm sure as you're looking at them, you must be getting the memory of your childhood and really identifying your own experiences by looking at this picture. And I'm sure the entire effort, entire activity, entire exploration was rooted in this thought of ensuring that you take care of yourself. Whether you were out or not consciously, that's a different story. But all your activity was rooted with this thought. Now, I just want to offer you 4 dimensions of self that we experience within. The first dimension is the physical dimension, the body that we all have. That's our physical self. And the physical care, what we need is to eat well, sleep well, and ensure that we are taking care of our body by exercising uh, and keeping it hydrated, going to gym, going for a jog, running, but keep our body moving to ensure that we take care of our physical self. The second self that we have, which is within and which we all experience when looking at the picture, is the emotional self. You and I can just see the physical body, but we can experience the emotional self that we have. What kind of emotions that you are carrying at the moment. And I'm sure you must be noticing what kind of emotions I am carrying in the moment. That's our emotional self talking to each other. How do we care for that? You can get the answers in the picture. How do you care for your emotional self? The intellectual self that we have is a self which wants to grow, which wants to understand, which wants to inquire and get the knowledge. And the knowledge can come from a variety of sources. It can come from your family, your friends, your surrounding, the books you read, the people you meet, the experiences that you have. In every moment, your intellectual self is extracting what is that is needed for me to serve my own life well. So that's your intellectual self. And finally, the spiritual self, which is an abstract self that we have all within us. To give you an example, when an individual parts away from the planet Earth, we could see the body, we could see the physical appearance of that person. The person has lost the emotions, he or she is not able to express them anymore. There's no intellectual engagement that person is offering. But what is it that went away? And I think that is our spiritual self, which continues to offer us that light and that energy to function and experience this 3 different dimensions or 4 different dimensions of life. So, what I want to offer you is this thought that any friendship that needs to flourish, either between you and your friends or between you and your friend within, you need to offer that care to that friend within. And that care can be and must be offered in all these 4 dimensions: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. So, we looked at 2 ways of making good friends. Listening is one important skill, and then taking care is another important value that we need to possess. Now, I want to offer you one tool. I call it as a thinking tool, which is a tool named alternate reality. And there's a small story that I want to share with you, a story which is of my personal experience, where I transformed my fear to love. Years back, when I visited one of my cousins, they had a very good, very lovely golden retriever and his name is Buddy. And I used to like him when I used to look at him, but his energy and his enthusiasm whenever we used to visit them was so much that he wants to just pounce on you. And I had a lot of fear about that particular uh, experience. One day, what happened is I decided that I'll just stand like this. And my brother just told me, Akhil, you stand like this and let him do what he wants to do. And he did all the stuff. He licked me, he kissed me, he tried to hug me, and then suddenly he slept on the floor with back touching his floor. He turned upside down. And my brother told me, Akhil, now he wants you to love. He wants you to touch and he wants to feel loved. And that moment really transformed my experience of looking at a pet running towards me. That's not to bite me, but that's to play with me. That's to share that space with me of life and offer love and expect love. So this alternate reality tool is very, very important, that every situation offers us an opportunity to look at it in a different angle. The current situation is just like that. There are so many things which are beyond our control. But if we use this thinking tool, we can find ideas which can serve us well in this current moment. So with that, I would like to summarize our conversation today. The friends that you all have, I'm sure you must have remembered them today with this talk. And you would have identified what is it that they are offering to you and what is it that you are offering to them in that transaction. But all of this is with, and today I want you to consider that all this love, the compassion, the kindness, the honesty, the care, the support that you offer to your friends outside, I would want you to consider to offer it to friend within. Here you see my friend, my heart. Now before I leave you today, I just want to share this beautiful picture. This picture is from my hometown where we spent a great time last Diwali with people around, people who stay close by. And you can see my father, who is a very close friend to me. He's a coach, guide, and a mentor. Now, this picture conveys that friendship doesn't need any age. It can happen within people of the same age, people of different age, people of different culture, people of different mindset. What you just need is first find that friend within, enrich that friend, care for that friend, and that friend will guide you to make wonderful friendships wherever you go in the world. So with that, before I leave you, I just want to offer a small musical tune to all of you, and remember that this friendship is a special bond. And let me invite my son Saksham to hum that tune for you.
Hello.
Yes, Saksham. So let's get started. Come on.
छोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे.
Thank you, Saksham.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me. You will get my social contacts. Please do join my channel. Please do subscribe. Please do get in touch. I look forward to greet, meet, and see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.